Okay, I was already sold on the Luminus religion, but now we find out there's a love ritual that's supposed to be taking place on a regular basis in order to get love energy from her. I'm on board. Where do I sign up? Where do I sign up? But no, Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 59. Yes, a return to Reincarnated as a meeting table, but it was expected. I kind of assumed this was going to be the case, and I'm assuming the next episode is going to be a bunch of meetings around the table in order to figure out what they're going to build, where they're going to build it, who they're going to invite, all that kind of stuff. But again, this is what we signed up for. This is what we signed up for. That said, this episode was pretty solid. I think we had quite a few interesting reveals. I think the big one I feel is around Rozo, which it seems like they're implying that Granville was a past hero. And I don't know if they've actually got into that before. Yes, I was a little annoyed that we got into Yuki again. I still to this point don't care for Yuki. I don't know why they keep bringing Yuki into the picture. And I'm really hoping they do something interesting with him. I really do. I have to admit that every single time I see him on the screen, I just get bored. I get extremely bored because all I can really picture Yuki as being, and they could do something really incredible with him, all I expect from him so far is that he just wants to see the world burn. He's a chaos creator. And that is like the worst villains for me. Like so far with everybody else, for the most part, there's a reason why they do what they do. It's for power, it's for gain, it's revenge, it's all these other things. And those are simple things, yes, mind you, but I think the one that I don't like the most is just I want to see the world burn. And again, I'm just getting those vibes from him. And again, I could be completely wrong. If you're a source material reader, unless they actually said something in the anime before this, I don't want to know, but you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, beside that, mostly this entire episode was really one long meeting in order to say, we're cool, right? Yes, we're cool. And then also, once again, bring to light that the angels are going to attack. And I guess it's finally the moment that Rimuru hears about the angels and they're warning him. But again, for Rimuru, it's really just a shrug. I'll just fight him, bro. Like, I got this, whatever. And everybody's saying, yeah, we'll join you too. But at least it also kind of shined a little bit of light on at least what Luminus has gone through in the past, or at least hinted at it. But yeah, let's get into the episode proper, opening up with Granville meeting up with Damrata again. Damrata basically saying that they're still going to hold to what their agreement was, but at the same time, yeah, we're not going to mess with Rimuru. Like, you're on your own now. Like a betrayal there. Rozo still wants to keep pushing forward, but he's like, yeah, we're not going to fight them. It's obvious that they want to make an economic hub. We don't like that, or at least Rozo doesn't like that, but at the same time, they're not going to fight Rimuru. I think it's like one of those aspects of like self-preservation that's coming into the mind of Damrata, as he's like, literally, they know who I am, or at least Hinata knows who I am. I can't be here anymore. I'm going to send somebody else. I got to get out of here. Peace, take care, all that kind of crap. And as he's walking out the door, he literally head pats Maribel, whatever her name is. And if looks could kill, she's like, don't touch me. What the hell are you doing? But yeah, it pretty much just feels like an after story there. Really kind of him saying that, yeah, this turned out to be a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. This Diablo guy was going to take me out. I had to get the hell out of there. And yes, noting that what they're going to be doing going forward. Which again, does seem like Rozo is being pushed into a corner here. He's no longer part of the 7 clergy. He doesn't have that control there anymore. He can't pull the strings back there. And then here, his only ally is basically saying, look, dude, it all went to crap. Peace out. So, I don't know. It does have me kind of thinking what's going to happen going forward. At least, again, in this episode, we got an insight into just how powerful Granville is. I don't think they ever before now kind of indicated that he was once a hero. This is a guy that was really powerful, stood up against Luminus, seemingly lost, and then became a part of the clergy, but he was powerful. So this is a guy that's going to be formidable in some way, not too formidable because Luminus doesn't want to fight Rimuru, and Rimuru is, let's just face it, right now, kind of up the top of the pecking order right now. So I don't think he's much of a threat to Rimuru directly, but at least shows that he does have some sort of combat prowess. Yes, that's when we cut over to Rimuru's meeting, and most of this meeting was just, we cool? Yeah, we're cool. But I did like the fact that in the wake of what they're talking about here is, yes, them, Hinata and Luminus saying, we apologize for what happened, but at the same time, Rimuru like saying, it's okay, let's call it even, let's just move forward, let's have, peace talks here. But Luminus is like, no, we screwed up. We have to do something to compensate. And yeah, he brings up the idea, well then, sign a peace treaty. Let's have a friendly relationship, which is very interesting because I do actually like how they lay this out. It's not as simple as Luminus going, shrug, yeah, okay, cool, let's do that. There is an element of it there because, yes, they have this creed that they are not to like monsters. Their religion is not supposed to like monsters. And yeah, the idea is how do you blend in the idea of at least demi-humans? They have a cool system set up. What I got from that whole thing is that they're essentially going to bring in the dwarves into the picture. And dwarves can be seen as humans. So what they're going to do is sort of slowly creep into it. Because it's not Luminus's choice. She just wants the happiness of the people. So this was something that was a rule that was made up by the rulership. The rulership wanted to, deny all monsters. So what they're planning here is to, okay, we'll bring in the dwarves. We'll sign a peace treaty with the dwarves and acknowledge them as humans, as a human race, not as demi-human or whatever. And that way, that can sort of slowly open the door to people accepting demi-humans. They'll show that, yes, Rimuru and Tempest and all that stuff, they're good people. They're not evil. And again, slowly push away that creed. The creed in Luminus's mind was accepted because she's like, well, if it makes the people happy, all the better. She doesn't care one way or the other. So it's like, okay, yeah, we'll accept it. We'll keep going as long as the people are happy and protected. That's all that matters to her. Again, that's her whole promise. That's the promise that she's making to the Ice Cube girl, is that she's going to protect her people and make sure they're happy. And so it doesn't really matter to her. And she doesn't feel like it should matter to the people. But there still is the element there that we have to kind of slowly open that door. For people to accept it, we have to slowly open that door. So it was a really cool way that they kind of sidestepped that. We're going to be peaceful for now. In 100 years, we'll actually work on some sort of diplomatic relations. But for now, let's just keep it peaceful and let's just kind of slowly bring people into it. And again, that makes sense, especially for 100 years. That makes sense because you have at least, one generation that's going to be going away. It's the best way to get rid of that prejudice, is to let a couple of generations slowly get comfortable to it to where the old generation dies out and the new generation accepts it. So it's a cool little thing they have set up there, even though they didn't really get into the details of it. Yeah, we had a couple shots of Lidus being really doki doki over Soe again. Like a couple of points of, yeah, I really like this Soe guy. Yeah, demi-humans are great. This girl's like all for accepting the demi-humans. She's just like doki-doking like crazy. What did he do during that fight that was so gentlemanly? Like, was he just like very proper with her? Didn't hurt? Maybe she likes to get hurt. That's what my assumption was, that he beat her up and she just liked that. She liked being dominated or whatever. It was goofy though. It was really goofy. But no, during the conversation, they did bring up who was kind of pulling the strings behind the scenes. Yes, they kind of specifically kind of zoned in on the Easter merchants. And additionally, yes, talking about the 7 clergy, which at that point, yes, they said, wait, there was a 7th. Who was that? Oh, don't worry. Hinata's like, no, my Nicholas contacted me, said that he took care of Gran. And that's when specifically Luminus brings up, oh, Gran, how did he take him out? Well, he said that he caught him off guard and used Incinerate or whatever. Okay, that doesn't make any sense because he must be getting old for his age. Like he's getting weak for his age. Assuming that this Granville guy, he must have gotten caught off guard, he's getting too old or whatever, because yes, Gran, who is Granville, was a hero. And yes, technically when this Gran guy died, it went over to Granville. So it makes me believe that that was actually supposed to be him, which that's a surprise to me. I thought that this Rozo guy was completely separate, he was just pulling the strings, but no, he was literally in the clergy, and obviously didn't die. So I'm curious if at some point he's going to reveal that he's still alive, or is he just going to stay in the background and let, I don't know, Mary Bell step forward or something like that. He's still obviously pulling strings in the background, but I'm curious if he's going to leave himself presumed dead at this point and just keep working in the background. But that was kind of interesting. Again, finally showing us why this Rozo guy at all is. I mean, that obviously shows why he was so prominent there and why he was so worried about Falmouth, is because this is important to him, and he obviously, again, fought Luminus in the past, became part of the clergy, has some sort of power, and didn't like anybody stepping into his territory. So it was cool to see that kind of reveal there. But no, I like when Rimuru brought up the idea of Clayman working with the 7-day clergy. It was like, Luminus is like, what? How dare you say they're working behind my back? There's no way that they would, work behind the scenes and work against me. He's like, hello? They literally put this whole thing in play for that. But yes, Lewis does make a good point. They were working for your favor. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything that happened was a sign that they wanted to get rid of Luminus. Now, they could have been, bowing before her towards the end because they feared her and knew that she was really powerful, but it could be literally they wanted to gain her favor. And Lewis makes a point there in the idea that there's apparently this love ritual that she's supposed to do. Like they said that they haven't done it in the last century, over a century since the last time they did it. But apparently there's like this whole ritual that she's supposed to do to give them like energy, love energy. And it's not like more, it's funny that there's this love thing and they have this little shot of her and she's got the hearts coming out from her, but it was supposed to actually give them youth. So it makes sense why the 7 clergy were getting really old is because they were losing that favor. So it could be very well that they were wanting to, that part of this was because they wanted her favor, so they gained more of her energy so that they can be youthful again. Makes sense. Yes, a lot of it did seem like it was driven by the idea they wanted to get rid of Hinata, and he makes that point too. They wanted to have as little people be in her favor as possible because they wanted all to themselves. They wanted that energy for themselves. So it was a cool little like reveal there, and yes, kind of show this idea that she has this energy to make people youthful. But yeah, this led into probably one of the stupidest comments that I think I've ever seen Remediu say. Because the Eastern merchants are involved, then he doesn't have to suspect Yuki. He's like, that was probably going to be an option for me to suspect is Yuki. And he's like, oh, then if that's the case, then I guess I don't have to worry about it. And he's just like, no, Yuki could still be involved. And he's like, wait, you're going to suspect a guy that came from the same world as us? This is like, that was a total face palm Remediu moment. It's like, okay, what is your track record here? Was there like, I think there was, what, 3? I think there was 3, maybe 4 people. I think it was 3. 3 people that were involved in that last war that were all isekais, that were all evil. Hinata tried to kill you, and Yuki seems to be trying to kill you. The only person that hasn't tried to kill you is Shizue. You know, she did technically try to kill you. Never mind. You've had literally everybody tried to kill you, or is trying to kill you, and you won over 2 of them. That's not a good track record for people from another world. I'm convinced at this point, if there is another isekai in this world, they're going to be evil at first and trying to take down Remediu. And then he may win over some of them, but for the most part, they're probably all going to die. I guess, yes, technically the other kids, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they technically are not inherently evil, too. But that was, again, because of Shizue. Shizue is at least trying to help the isekais. But again, track record's bad. So, yes, assume Yuki's bad. But yeah, that's when they cook up the plan for how they can, like, slowly, you know, build into some sort of relationship between them, which is great. Even, was thinking about giving up Veldora. And the idea that, no, I can't be fully, like, friendly with you guys, and I still want to get revenge on Veldora. And yes, they technically hint at that again later on, which has already been hinted at this point, that she has a problem with him. And remember, literally was thinking about actually giving up Veldora, and he's over there shielding himself with a manga. But yeah, they go to leave. He gives Hinata back her rapier, has improved a little bit. Then at that point, he decides, you know, hey, this is probably a good time to invite them once again. Hey, let's have some more fun. Course, they have another party. But yeah, that's where we slowly kind of creep into a discussion about angels. And yeah, Remediu, being plastered, apparently decides to divulge his entire plan going forward, which is mostly to, yes, you know, get that influence into the human nations, but additionally to create a communication network. One that doesn't require mana to do, one that everybody can do. Basically, he wants to make telephones. He wants to make landlines. Instead of skipping straight to wireless, he wants to do wired. He's like, he's from our modern times Japan. Why would he want to create wired technology? Why wouldn't you go straight to wireless? Why would you create a system that you're going to have to replace later on? I like how Hinata's like, literally, that's usually like state secrets that you'd want to keep to yourself. Why are you blabbing this out? But no, they bring up the idea that the angels, of course, will be attacking. So again, I don't think they've talked about this before now to Remediu, but now this is, I guess, the point in which Remediu is learning about at least how the angels work. That if somebody builds up something, gets too big, the angels are going to attack. And it seems to imply that Luminus has had problems with them in the past, which I guess technically makes sense. In the past, it seems to imply that she may have built too big to the point where the angels came in and destroyed things. She also said Veldora did the same thing. And again, we've already implied that before, that he's, you know, he was destructive before. But again, here it kind of implies that Luminus is like, yeah, if that happens and you're going to fight back, yeah, I would like to join in. Or at least Hinata said that she wanted to join in, and Luminus over the side said, yeah, they're annoying bugs. I'd like to get rid of them. So at least there's a common enemy here across them, is that nobody seems to like the idea of the angels. For Luminus, it doesn't really imply that she'd like to grow big. It's just more of an idea that they've done something in the past to her and destroyed her people. And again, that seems to be her promise and focus, is to protect her people and make them happy. Yeah, the angels coming in and destroying their cities was not a good thing. So at least we have like some kind of truce built up there. I totally forgot, but yes, I was very intrigued by the aftermath of the whole situation with the reveal of Luminus. Apparently, all the Crusaders and everybody are now focused on Hinata, which is interesting, because I was kind of curious of how they would kind of see the whole situation with Luminus. Hinata apologized to them for lying to them about Luminus, and their response is simply, we'll follow Hinata, because we believe in Hinata, not the god Luminus. They're specifically saying here that they're no longer, like, religiously connected to Luminus. Now again, based on how things played out, I kind of question their faith to Luminus to begin with. It did seem like they were all following Hinata. Now, it was odd because they kept questioning her, or at least some of them were, but all the people that were on one side of the table in that scenario, which is these people, they were all following Hinata, which does make sense because she did rebuild this. Again, when she first came in there, she built that group. So they all follow her. They follow her and trust her. She was speaking for Luminus, which is the religion of the area, but now that has seemed to be destroyed at this point because they now all know that she's a demon lord. But it seems to imply here that they believe in Hinata, which does play into my whole thought process around Nicholas, and the idea that Nicholas thinks that Hinata is a god, which again does make sense. If they are presented with two individuals in front of them, one is Luminus, who is a demon lord that ascended to being a demon lord in this world that's not very otherworldly or like a divine being. That's something of this world. Hinata is an isekai from another world that has a very powerful skill. So she is some sort of divine thing coming to this world that is not of this world. So it makes sense that they will follow her. But again, it could just strictly be that they trust in her as their captain, their leader. Not so much they worship her. Nicholas does, seemingly. But again, that was kind of interesting that it seems like everybody under Hinata is now following that same direction as Nicholas. Now they have seen that Luminus is not really a god, just like Nicholas said, which is odd because Hinata is pretty okay with that. It's like, she just kind of shrugged it off. I'm like, I would probably say something like, please don't do that. Again, I think it's more in the idea that them specifically, they're looking at her as a leader. They believe in her as a leader, not as a god. They don't follow the god Luminus. They follow Hinata, their leader. I don't know, we'll see. But it was odd because later on, Luminus does point out the idea that they're able to use holy magic because they believe in her. And again, that could possibly just because that they are underneath her. They're like her underlings, thus they can take her power and use it. Which does, yes, technically offset what I was saying in the previous episode impressions that Luminus came in and was faking holy magic. It seems to be all but implying that, yes, yes, I should have caught that, yes, technically they said Hinata cannot be healed by dark magic, and Luminus was able to heal her, but I don't know, maybe it's because she is an underling, she's able to do that. But again, it seems to imply that Luminus, despite being a demon lord, is able to produce holy magic, and again, bestow that holy magic to people. Despite the fact that it seems like they're now going to be, at least, worshipping in a way, not really worshipping, again, believing in Hinata, they're still getting that power from Luminus. Anyways, going back to the party, it was interesting that when Luminus pointed out the idea that she didn't like the angels because they destroyed her city just like Veldora did. And Veldora responded by saying, it's not my fault. He said it several times. So it does make me kind of think that, at least from Veldora's mindset, it wasn't something that he wanted to do. Which, yes, technically makes sense because I would assume this Veldora that we have now is completely different than the normal Veldora. He's not this chaos that's just going around destroying things. It kind of makes you think that his past self was a self that could not be controlled. Something was manipulating him or enraging him. Too much energy causes him to go berserk and he can't control himself. That could all be possibilities there. But yeah, that all wraps up with the conversation with Yuki, which, shrug, I just don't care much for any time that Yuki's on the screen. But yes, pointing out the idea that they needed to utilize their negotiation window with the 5 great elders, talking about how powerful Diablo was, possibly more powerful than Blanc themselves, Blanc who threatened the entire empire, which we already talked about the idea that he confronted Blanc. And yes, Yuki confirming that he was hoping that Hinata would kill Rimuru, not because he felt that Hinata could, but because Rimuru is so soft-hearted that he wouldn't kill Hinata. I get that whole mindset there, that Rimuru would not want to kill Hinata, and that could lead her into being able to kill him because he would hold back. But yeah, now they're going to be getting into some slave trades thing and take down some other group and still work with the Rozos and all that kind of stuff. And then Kazalim pops up, says that she wants to be called something else now, Kagali now, because they don't want to be called Kazalim until they get their revenge on Leon, and shrug, moving on. Again, I just, every time Yuki comes on the screen, I just don't care. It's like the least interesting thing about this entire thing, but that's pretty much the wrap up the episode. Looking forward to the next episode, and we'll see where it goes from here. It looks like festival setting up. I just have a feeling that unless they have some fun with some characters, I just feel like the next episode's probably going to be a slog for me, because if it's not related to the overall world and the building and stuff, I'm just going to be probably snoring, but we'll see. We'll see. It could surprise me. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 59 of Reincarnated as a Slime. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, so thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.